did his undergraduate degree with me in my capstone. Then he went away for 5 years, worked, then he came back, did a master's, went away for 5 years, got a P, came back, did a PhD, went away for 5 years, now he's back here today. So, I want to thank Matt. He's brings an incredible wealth of wisdom to this this task. I know he's done a great job, and he's a good friend of mine, so I appreciate him doing this today. And Matt, take it away. I'm excited by the panel. I think you're going to see some really good stuff here. I'm looking for it.
So I think everybody knows some of the panel members, but maybe not all of them. So let's just do, actually I got a couple comments that I just want to make about this capstone week. So as Professor Shearer mentioned, I've kind of had my foot in this world for a little while. It's actually the 6th cohort I've had some interaction with. So I know how difficult this week is. I know it's a challenging week. It is a stressful week. Sometimes you have very difficult students, like Valerie was one of my students, so they can be exceptionally difficult, but they turn out all the same. But hopefully through the course of this, you've learned something, you've found it valuable, instructive, enriching, possibly a little fun at times, in addition to being overwhelming. And as you look back and reflect on this program, on this week and the program, I think this will be something that really resonates, what you did, what you've accomplished throughout this program. So I just want to acknowledge you guys. I mean, I think you've done a pretty amazing job. And I think you've really kind of stepped up and risen to the challenge of a very difficult problem being what you were asked to do was complicated. You've got some really smart people down here who've been addressing this a bit, and they've been looking at this for months and months and months. You were asked to do this in 4 days. So this is not a trivial task, it's not a trivial ask, and I think you guys really stepped up. So just take a minute and give yourself credit. Give yourself This is not something that everyone can do. It's not something that many people can do. So, so give yourself credit where credit is due. But speaking of credit where credit is due, I think you know most of our panel, but for those of you that may not know our very distinguished panel, our client Paul, as you know, our Director of Utilities and Energy, or Energy and Utilities. I invert them from time to time just to keep you on your toes. Also, esteemed AMP alum. So he's been in your shoes. He is very sympathetic for what you're going through this week. But he's also going to hold you to a very high standard while at the same time being sympathetic, so it's a double-edged sword. Beside him, we have kind of our wealth of knowledge from academia. William Cho, so environmental economist from the Batten School, brings a wealth of knowledge and just been extremely generous and gracious with his time, because when we asked him to help us out on 10 minutes notice essentially, he was more than willing, and I could not have been happier that when you guys were actually having your call. It was supposed to be 30 minutes, and he was apologizing profusely for not having things prepared, even though we gave him probably a couple hours notice. And when we hit the hour and 45-minute mark for the half-hour conversation, it was still going strong. So that means it was a good conversation, and we were all getting a lot out of that. So thank you very much for being here. Your contributions are very much appreciated. And then in the Charlottesville is a small world kind of analogy, this is Jesse Warren. He lives 2 doors down from me, and just happens to be a program manager with the sustainability office at UVA. So he is in charge of a team of energy engineers, efficiency engineers,
That's right.
to describe them. And he kind of puts boots to the ground in implementing a lot of these projects that we have at UVA, and trying to make our world a little bit greener and the university a little bit greener. So we have Paul, who literally keeps the lights on, and Jesse, who kind of keeps things more efficient when the lights are coming on. So you have an unbelievable wealth of knowledge here of people who are going to be evaluating you and kind of giving you some feedback on your projects. And also I just wanted to welcome some people from the city. A friend of ours is Kirk Vizier, who is a city sustainability manager who works with Susan Elliott. So there's a lot of people that are interested in what we're talking about here. And as you guys are doing your research, I mean, you found that this is a topic that, while it's important now, it's gaining importance, it's gaining prestige. So don't minimize what you're doing, don't minimize what you've accomplished here, and don't minimize the impact of what you're doing here can have. So we are going to start with UVA SES, and then we're going to move on to Amperage, and then Confirm and Go is going to finish strong. So commit, go. My bad.
Ready for us?
Go right ahead. Floor is yours.
Thank you.
And guys, just a reminder on the format.